Good Thursday morning, everybody. This morning we have Ophiuchus, the band, on the podcast to talk about their music and discuss song form. Ophiuchus consists of Gideon Richard on guitar and vocals, Emery on drums, Lou Knowles on guitar, and Rachel Pizon on bass. It is a metal band that started from the rock band Mayterm class here at Fabric Academy. Recently, they've released an EP titled Become the Void. In the past, Ophiuchus has performed at the Fabric Fair, the Bonfire at School, and on Lights Out with Phil West. The band was just recently selected as a finalist in the WMWV Song of the Year contest for local artists. Welcome, Ophiuchus. Hi.
Hello.
So, today I'm here with two members of the band Ophiuchus. Yes? Yes. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
My name is Gideon Richard.
My name is Zackary Emery.
And what do you play in the band?
I do guitar and vocals.
And I play drums.
Epic. So you guys maybe not so recently. When did you release your debut album, EP? What's it called?
We released Become the Void in late November.
Wow. And it's been getting some traction around here for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, you're well known now. I wanted to ask a little bit about the process of writing an EP. I've never done that myself personally, but what's the songwriting process like, and who was involved with that? Like, I know Gideon does a lot of songwriting and in other genres too, but who else? Like, were there other people in the band that was involved in that?
Yeah. So at that point in time, we wrote the EP over the summer, and we were a trio at that time with me, Zach, and Marcus Amoroso.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach did quite a bit of writing for it, especially on the title track. Yeah.
So, did you write the melodies and the lyrics, or what kind of stuff did you write?
Well, I didn't do that, but as far as writing, I would say, I would just come up with a drum part, and then Gideon would write a guitar riff to accompany it, and then it was just building ideas on top of each other.
That's cool.
And then we would go back in, and Gideon wrote the lyrics for that song after all the instrumental writing was done.
I see. So the only kind of experience I have with songwriting is composing on sheet music, but this is a totally different kind of style of music. So I was genuinely curious, do you have sheet music for these songs, or was it all little recorded bits that you pieced together, or what?
Well, I have sheet music for it now because I have to teach other members like
yeah.
and Rachel.
Okay.
But, I have probably 100 different voice memos on my computer. I come up with an idea, and then I just record it.
Yeah.
I either play it on guitar and record it, or I just hear it and then I tap it out. Sometimes if I tap it out, I remember the melody. And yeah, so I'm always using voice memos, and then I kind of just sometimes I like to look through that. And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I should use that again.
Nice. This is good. How long did the whole process take from start to finish? So you said you started writing in the summer?
Yeah.
Was there stuff before that you
Yeah. Serenity, there are several riffs on the album. The main riff for Serenity, that's about 2 years old. And then the intro riff for Suffer Unto Thee, that's a little bit, it's about 4 months newer than Serenity. But I've just been trying to find a place for those songs for years now. And then there were a lot of songs. There were about 3 different song ideas, I think, that kind of got discarded.
Oh.
For the EP, and then we're like, yeah, this isn't it.
Mm-hmm. And
then one of them actually, we didn't really like it, so then it actually turned into Become the Void. And Become the Void, it was an interesting song to write, because that one was written in less than 2 rehearsals, pretty much in 1 rehearsal.
Wow. And as you were writing these, were you also recording at the same time, or did you finish writing all of them and then record the whole album?
Well, and so we wouldn't forget, because we did forget a lot. We would near the end of a practice, if we made a lot of progress, I would stick my computer on the floor and hit record, and it would be the most ear rape recording possible because it was so loud. And then later on, I figured out that you can turn the input volume down.
Oh.
So that helped a lot.
Oh, good.
But yeah, that was kind of like, and then what I would do actually is I would go to work after practices. So then I would be walking around in the dairy cooler with my phone in my ear, just listening to it, trying to come up with lyrics or melodies for it.
That's good. Multitasking king.
I think I lost some hearing from that.
How are your coworkers feeling about that?
Well, they couldn't hear anything.
Oh, it was
so
in your headphones.
fine.
Got it. Yeah. So this type of music is so out of my wheelhouse, which is why I'm so excited that you guys are talking about it. And I'm curious because Gideon has taken AP theory before, and Zach, what do you know? What is your experience with music and music theory? Just like give us the rundown.
So I would say the extent of my knowledge is like basic rhythm because I've only played drums. So like reading pitches or anything, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the extent of
Awesome.
my knowledge.
Well, I guess if it's useful to you, then that's all you got to know. So for Gideon, in the songwriting process, I'm wondering if anything that you learned in AP theory was useful for this kind of music, because AP theory is so centralized on like common practice period music, like classical stuff and like Bach chorales. That's what we study. And like we study other kinds of music a little bit, but it's mostly centered on that kind of music. And this is so different, but I was wondering like what kind of stuff that you picked up in theory was useful for this album.
Definitely, I'm always like trying to figure out the chord progressions, and especially because then if I want to solo on it, I want to know exactly what it is. So like Become the Void, the verses and the chorus are in F minor.
Uh-huh.
But tying the intro and the verses were weird because originally I thought it was in C minor, but it's not because, well, we play in Become the Void is in a tuning called drop C tuning. So
Explain more.
okay, so like in standard tuning on a guitar, your two bottom strings, if you place say like a power chord, just a power chord on the 3rd fret, you would place your first finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and then on the 5th, 2 frets higher on the 5th fret of the next string, so the A string, and that is the root and a 5th, and that's all a power chord is, just the root and a 5th.
Uh-huh.
And when you have drop tuning, it turns because E and an A is a 4th.
Yes.
So if you have drop D, you tune the bottom string down a whole step. So now you have D and A, and that's an automatic 5th. So you can basically just slide your finger down, bar your finger.
Oh yeah.
And you got automatic power chords.
Oh, that's cool.
All over the place. Well, what I did was I was in drop tuning, and instead I didn't want to just play a normal power chord, so I played a power chord as you would in standard tuning. So I placed on like the 3rd fret, first finger, and then 2 frets higher on the next string. But that's not a power chord. So those are major 6s. So the riff for Become the Void is it's like an E flat and a C, and then it descends a half step. So then it's like a it's like a D and a B. Yeah. Extra and C. So that'd be an E flat. Yeah. So it's I love little chromatic intervals like that. Like
That's it.
yeah. And then of course tremolo melodies. You gotta have tremolo melodies. There's nothing more epic.
Okay, talk about that because I have no idea what that means.
Like the chorus is all tremolo. Like tremolo, you know what tremolo is.
Yes, yeah, I know what a tremolo is.
So it's just really fast picking.
Uh-huh.
But then
Like
yep, pretty much. And I think actually for Become the Void, because it's in a very triplet feel, so I think the tremolo is actually sextuplets. I think.
Whoa.
Yeah, I had some arm pain after recording that album. So I came up with a melody for the chorus, which then the guitar riff is very melodic, and then to put vocals over that, I just doubled what I was playing on guitar. So the vocal melody for the Become the Void is exactly what I play on guitar, which gives it a very thick feeling in the mix.
Heavy, yeah.
Yeah, it's very heavy.
Very nice.
And I get a lot of that influence from Gojira because they do a lot of tremolo melodies.
That was an unbelievable segue into the next question. Yeah, so I asked them to think about who were significant influences, inspirations for the album, and just the kind of music that your band plays. So yeah, say more.
I would certainly say Gojira as well, and maybe Trivium.
What about their music? Did you take in like pull from their music and put into yours? Like what kind of elements?
Well, the last track on Become the Void, I've always thought of this on Serenity. It is in between the verses, and all I hear when I listen to it is Gojira. It's sextuplets and then syncopated crash hits, if that makes any sense. Gideon's humming it right now.
Well, I'll put it in. So
okay, if we could insert it.
Yeah, I'll insert it for sure.
It just reminds me of that.
Okay.
And I would say that's one element of my influence.
Very nice.
Yeah, we saw Gojira live in August, and that was a life-changing experience.
It was crazy.
Where was that?
Portland at the Cross Insurance Arena.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I have no idea who Gojira is. Oh. So do you want me to tell him?
The Art of Dying.
You want to tell me about it?
Oh my God, The Art of Dying, best thing ever.
That doesn't really explain it.
Say more.
Just the intro. It's in like
a song they wrote.
45:27, I think, or something.
Excuse me.
It's crazy. I think the song's 10 minutes long.
Yeah, because there's a 3-minute outro.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds wild. Anyone else? Inspirations, influences?
Oh yeah, well, this Become the Void, the middle section. It's in 6/8, which my boy Zackary wrote there.
To be prepared for this, I listened more closely to your album, and it was switching time signatures all the time, and I was like, that's gnarly.
Yeah. Pretty much what happened when we wrote that was Zach went downstairs for a cookie break.
So, for context, over the summer, every week, we would meet at my house, and we would just write in my bedroom. And sometimes I would have to, sometimes Gideon would bring snacks, but this week I had the cookies. So I had to go retrieve them. And I came back, and it was like, it was like a revelation, almost. I came up the stairs, and I was like, we have to go into 6/8.
What a story. What a story.
Like, if you listen to the actual song, there's like a crazy fill, tempo change, and it goes into 6/8.
I'll insert it right here.
All right, thank you. But it was crazy.
What a great story. It's a cookie revelation.
Yeah.
Another thing on that, I had to, because Zach wrote the drum part for that, so I had to rack my brain, come up with a gnarly guitar riff for that. So originally, it's daga daga da da. That doesn't make any sense. but I do a pinch harmonic, and originally it was on 3. But then I'm like, no, we're not doing it on 3. So then I'm like, what if we do it on the and of 3?
Okay.
And then, so it's like ba ba. So I do play 3, but it's like a little muted thing, so you don't really hear it.
Remind me what time signature we're in?
We're in 6. Is it on 4?
It's on 4.
It's on 4. Okay, it's on the end of 4.
In what time signature?
6/8.
Okay.
6/8.
Got it.
Yeah, because
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6.
So it's like, and the snare is on 4, so it's like a heavy snare accent, and then the pinch harmonic. But I'm like, you know what? A pinch harmonic isn't enough, because I was listening to the Gojira song.
What's a pinch harmonic?
Well, it's when basically what has to happen is the edge of your pick and the skin of your thumb has to hit the string at the same time. So you got artificial harmonics at 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 12th fret. Well, the pinch harmonic, you can have a harmonic anywhere, any fret.
But you pinch the string.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
And then if you add like a little vibrato in the pinch harmonic, it's like a little squeal, and it's like, it's godly. So then, in the Gojira song "Born for One Thing," in like the last half, they do a bend on the pinch harmonic, and I never heard anything like that before.
Like a
yeah, precisely. So I'm like, what if I do that on the end of 3?
4.
Oh my god, end of 4. Yeah, on the end of 4. And
remind me what song this is in?
Become the Void, the title track.
Okay, I'm gonna try to find it, and I'm gonna put the pinch harmonic on the end of 4 in.
And then, of course, there's another little noise at the end of that phrase, and that's a pick scrape, which...
You guys, I'm learning so much about the...
Gojira popularized the pick scrape, and we've used it in many songs.
Actually, it was on the 2005 album From Mars to Sirius.
A Gojira album?
Yeah. About whales. And anyways, that's not important. But Zach texted me one day. He's like, dude, we need more of that. Those scrapes. We need some of those in our songs. And I'm like, yeah. So then we just put it in there and it was good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A pinch harmonic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of wrapped it up. We went back to the intro riff, did another chorus, and then, I don't know, how'd you write that outro?
Well, so the outro is something really special to my heart.
Aw.
I don't really know how I created it, but maybe you could insert it right now for reference.
Oh, certainly.
In post-production. But basically it has the same triplet feel, so it's all triplets, and it's just normal right-left sticking, and I'm playing triplets on the bass drum too, so it's just triplets all around.
Okay, then I have a couple questions more specifically about recording. Where did you record? Like, and then did you record all the musicians at the same time or like separately and then put them together? And how was that? Or like mixing process? You can talk about that too.
Well, it was a nightmare. We actually had 2 recording sessions. Mm-hmm. We had one on September 10th. Both at Mountaintop with Julia Howell.
Oh, very nice.
So we did one in the Majestic Theater on the stage, and she had set up all these barriers, and it was glorious.
That's helpful.
The only problem was she was at the soundboard, which was 50 feet away. That made communication a little bit difficult between takes.
Yeah.
But and Marcus was playing bass at that time, and then I don't know what went wrong with that, because I went to mixing and it just. The source material was just not there. And then we had a couple additional ideas for songwriting anyways. Like, we wanted to slow down the 6/8 section more. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't slow enough. And then we went back after our gig at the Freiburg Fair and the Homecoming Bonfire. We recorded in the middle of October upstairs in Sharon Novak's room.
Oh,
the children's room.
The children.
Yeah. With a beautiful rug.
My drum set was on the
No kidding.
Yeah.
I took piano lessons in that room over the summer. It was very, it's a children's room.
Yeah. So we recorded the whole album there. All live performance takes from Zackary Emery.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maximum 3 takes, I think.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Because he kept screwing up the intro.
Oh, okay.
But since we recorded all in the same room, that was not a good idea.
Oh.
Because when I went to mix the bass tracks, all I heard on the bass tracks was drums. So I had to re-record the bass tracks.
Oh.
And then I didn't like the guitar tone, so I re-recorded the guitar tone anyways. And then I still had to do vocals because we didn't even do vocals.
This is the realest explanation of how recording goes. Personally, I've only done one recording project, and it was for this podcast. It was the intro music, and boy, like, at some point, I was just so tired of re-recording stuff and, like, dragging people in here that I just, like, I said, that's good enough, and I'm not going to try to make it any better. It's a long process.
Yeah.
And my thing was, like, 8 measures long. It's not even that long.
And God, like, the kick drum was the bane of my existence when it came to mixing.
Uh-huh.
Because normally, or ideally, I should say, because we didn't know this. We were rookies back then.
Yeah.
What you do is you have a hole in the kick drum. Some, like, I think a couple of kick drums here have a hole in them. Like, you can buy it like that, or you can just cut a hole in it if you wanted to. And what you do, and when you want to mic it up, the further the mic is away from the kick drum, the more boom you get. And the closer you get, like if you had a hole and then you put it in, the more click you get from the beater. So what you want to do is you want to find the perfect mix between the low end of the kick and the click from the beater, because then the click is what brings it out in the mix. And we didn't have a hole, so all I had was boom, and you couldn't hear anything. So what I did was I just kind of gave up on the click and then made sure you could feel it. So there's a lot of low end. Like there's a ton of low end on the EP. Mostly from the kick and the bass. The bass tracks were glorious.
Nice. Okay. And my last question about the EP.
Yeah.
How did you decide what order to put the songs in? Like, was it just like based on how you wrote them, or was there like was there a deciding factor in how you did that?
Yeah. Well, we wrote Serenity first, and we kind of always had that in mind that should be the closer. And then Suffer Under Thee, it had the most epic intro, so we're like, well, we're gonna have a little intro song like Trivium does.
Yeah. So I had, like, when I opened up the album to press play, I was like, wow, this song's really short.
Yeah.
That's
Which we got that from Trivium, because Trivium on all their albums, except for like one, they have an intro song like 30 seconds to like 90 seconds. So we wanted to do that leading into a big epic intro.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was just kind of like, all right, we got a ballad here and we got a ballad there. Let's alternate, give the listeners a break.
I think we just based it off energy, or the overall feeling.
Yeah.
Because we have the intro, and then we started with the intro, like the song with the best intro, like Gideon said, and then we have a slower song in between, and then we have Become the Void, which is
a headbanger.
Yeah, it's a thrasher, and then at the end, you're like, wow, that was crazy. And then the intro of Serenity, it's just like calm guitar, and then it slowly builds up throughout the entire song, and we're like, what a great way to end the EP.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow, that is fascinating. All of that stuff that I am amateur at.
Zach, do you want to talk about how you traded fours?
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah, I'll do it. I will. So oftentimes when we write, like, I'll just have random ideas because of my lack of knowledge. I'll just like think anything possible. But I was like, we should trade fours at the end, because I don't know how to describe the ending, but it's just like blast beats and crazy guitar. We're like, we should just trade fours, which is from jazz.
Yes, it is.
Which is crazy.
I've actually heard of that one before.
Yeah. So we were like, why don't we include that? So we have a section, or it's just the end of, maybe it's actually 8 bars on ours, but there's just a drum solo, and then there's the actual ending riff with the drums and guitar, and then there's drum solo again, and then the riff once again.
So you took something from jazz and put it in your album.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love jazz.
Yeah, Zach is always asking me to put more jazz in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. So now we should get into our theory topic of the day.
Of course.
And since y'all are songwriters, I thought it would be appropriate to talk about form. And I brought my theory notes from last year because I am just that prepared. And we can draw from examples from your guys' songs and other genres as well, that I'll just like put in later so people can hear. But so I thought actually, okay, when you're talking about the EP and you're talking about all these like riffs that you came up with in the beginning, I was wondering, like, are riffs kind of similar? Is that like a motif for like metal music? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's like a theme, basically.
And then you like build the song based on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's from my theory notes from last year. So form, just to like form is like how a song is put together and the different pieces. So there's small pieces, and then those small pieces build into bigger pieces. And one of the smallest pieces in form is a motive or a motif. And it's the smallest identifiable musical idea. It can be rhythmic or melodic. That's kind of the gist. So like when you build your songs on a riff, then do you like take that riff and transform it and like do motivic transformation by chance?
Yes, but in the early days, like especially with Venerate, when we wrote Venerate, which was our first ever song, we had way too many ideas in our song.
Yeah.
It was like riff salad,
Crowded.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So what we did, especially what we do now, is we want to like limit the songs to like 2 or 3 ideas, and then actually like develop those ideas.
Okay, so can you give me like an example of a song where I might find that?
All right. So, I mean, all podcasts we've been talking about Become the Void. I think Gideon and I agree that's probably our best work so far.
Is that
Thus
why
far.
the EP is named after it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just thought that was our best.
It's our first hit.
Yeah.
But so even in Serenity, there's kind of like a movement between riffs that is not organic. Like it just keeps going through parts, which I think fits the song. But as Gideon said, we ran into that same problem with Venerate. So with Become the Void, which I think was the second song we wrote for the EP, we kind of kept... So the main idea, I would say, is the triplet feel, which kind of pervades throughout the whole song. So the intro and...
We've got little triplet motif.
The intro is... The riff is all triplets, and the kick drum just plays triplets.
No.
And then in the verse, it changes a little, but underneath... the bass and rhythm guitar, or there's a second guitar part that plays quarter note triplets that is kind of subtle, but it keeps that same feeling. And then the chorus...
So wait, pause, because in like AP music theory, when you take a motif and you like extend it so that it takes up more time, that's called augmentation. So like you could take the eighth note triplets, is that what like the main motif?
Yeah.
You would take the eighth note triplets and then make them quarter note triplets, then they take up more time. That's augmentation.
That might just be.
Yeah, that's epic.
Yeah.
And then the opposite of that, just for people's knowledge, is called diminution. If you take a motif and you make it take up less space in the music.
And that also
That's crazy.
Occurs in the chorus. As Gideon said, the guitar picks sextuplets throughout the entire chorus. And then the 6/8,
That was just like a middle section.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's still groupings of 3, so it feels kind of the same. And then it repeats the intro, which has the triplets, and then the chorus, which is just halftime.
Yeah.
Good. This is a great opportunity to talk about different parts of the song. So you can have a chorus, a verse, and a bridge. So chorus would be like a melody that reoccurs within the song. It comes back. Verses, or they're also called strophic melodies, is where you would have a repeating melody, but then maybe the lyrics change. And then a bridge is some new material that's introduced in the song, and then usually you don't come back to that. But you do like several verses and chorus, and then introduce the bridge, and then do more verses and choruses.
Yeah.
So would you like to explain, like, in those terms, how Become the Void is organized?
Yeah. Well, I think for the title track, you could call the 6/8 section the bridge, because it does closely follow the verse chorus. It doesn't really have a pre-chorus, but it has a verse, it has a chorus, it has a bridge, and an outro. Serenity,
intro, outro.
Serenity, the first song we wrote, it does not have a chorus. It kind of has a verse, has a couple verses, but they're like they're in the 4 minute, like around the 4 minute mark of a 5 minute song. So they're kind of a verse, but they're not where a verse is supposed to be.
Interesting.
And that one, we kind of threw out song form for that one. Did what we wanted.
Okay, wait, but let's talk about this because that is that's like, I mean, anything's allowed, but that you might call that through composed.
Yeah.
A through composed piece is like it doesn't have many reoccurring like melodic patterns or whatever, or like there's just new material upon new material. That might be a through composed song.
Serenity took like 6 weeks to write. And we had weekly 3-hour practices.
Oh my god.
That song took a long time to write.
So go listen.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is, if you want to write and be efficient, follow song form.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. And we probably should eat lunch soon. The last thing I want you guys to do is tell us something exciting. Some exciting news came out recently. So
yes. So we submitted the title track from our EP to the annual 2024 WMWV Song of the Year contest, and it was played on a showcase on Monday, like a week and a half ago. And out of there were 41 contestants, and we were chosen for the top 3 finalists.
That's insane.
Which was just like amazing.
Crazy.
It was amazing.
So cool.
Yeah. And then so now, obviously, because we're a finalist, we have a showcase gig. So we're gonna be playing at the Up Bar in Horse Feathers in Conway, New Hampshire, March 23rd from 7 to 8 p.m.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then can you tell people how to vote for your song in this contest?
Yeah, so basically just go straight to WMWV.
I'll put the link in the description.
Yeah. Also, it's on our Instagram, which is just
Ophiuchus Band Official.
Yeah, Ophiuchus Band Official. Go follow us.
I'll put that in the description too.
Thank you.
So yeah, there's 2 different pages. There's the song contest, and then there's one that says vote for your favorite. And you have to go to the vote for your favorite one, because that has the 3 songs and then a little link on the bottom. And then, yeah, that's how you vote for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure you click Ophiuchus and not like a scapegoat or something.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming in during our lunch period and talking with me. That was very informative. I learned so much about this kind of music, and I hope you had fun.
Just wait until you hear the 5-4-3-4 breakdown we're cooking up.
Stay tuned for the 5-4-3 breakdown.
3-4.
For the 3-4 breakdown.
Yeah.
As always, the music is composed and arranged by Isaac Houghton. The musicians are Michael Sakash on alto and tenor sax, Brian Lucy on baritone saxophone, Quinn and me on trumpet, me on trombone, Ethan St. Pierre on drums, and Isaac on bass. Our cover art is painted by Sierra Rollman. Social media manager is Olivia Wentworth. Recording equipment thanks to the FA Arts Department. And thank you to Mr. Swayze for teaching me how to use the equipment. And of course, thanks to my amazing theory teachers who inspired me to pursue this project. I will be back next week for more Thursday morning fun.